Hey guys, welcome back. Happy Wednesday. If you are brand new here, I'm Shaina, life coach, host of this channel, and just an awesome human being. Today, I want to talk about therapy versus coaching. This is a question that I get often, and I think it's important that you guys understand the differences so that you can choose accordingly now and in the future. I want to preface this video by saying this. Yes, I am biased toward coaching. Obviously, I'm not going to deny that or tiptoe around that. I fucking love coaching, and I think it's the best investment you could ever make. And I truly believe that coaching is what will change the world. Sorry, not sorry. But that does not mean that I hate therapy or that you shouldn't go to therapy or that it's not effective. This video is not about coaching over therapy by any means, although it may come off like that sometimes. So, love it or hate it, I am here to share my personal experiences with both and what the main difference is. So when I was in high school, I developed something called Trickletoe Mania, which I don't even think I'm pronouncing that right, to be honest with you. But in the most basic definition, it is the pulling out of your hair. I would get these uncontrollable or what felt like uncontrollable urges to pull my hair out from my scalp and my eyebrows and my eyelashes. Thankfully, today I've developed enough awareness to stop myself when the urge comes on. But in high school, it was a thing for me. And some of my classmates in class began to notice, and then my mom began to notice at home. And she sent me to a therapist. And that was the first time I had ever gone to see a therapist. And I remember so clearly, like sitting in the office and exactly what it looked like, the leather brown chair that I sat on. And this man across from me was intentionally trying to get me to talk about my childhood and upbringing and trauma. And I was just not vibing with it. I remember feeling like this is really not my thing. And I left that first session and I turned to my mom as we were walking out and I said, I'm never doing that again. And she said, then stop pulling your hair out or you're going back. And that day, swear to God, I stopped cold turkey. So that was my first experience with therapy. My second experience with therapy was when I first moved to LA, when I quit my job, moved cross country, had no idea what the hell I was doing with my life. And I knew that I needed, or better yet, wanted some guidance and tools so that I could begin the process of creating the life that I loved. But I didn't know what coaching was back then in my early and mid-20s. I didn't know it existed. And I think that's the case for a lot of people, right? You think, okay, I need or I want extra support and guidance and to work through my crap. And our first go-to is therapy because it's been around for so long. So that's what I did. I hired this woman, a female experienced therapist. She had a small room in her home that I would visit weekly. And I saw her for about a month or two, somewhere in between there, until again, I felt like I wasn't vibing with it. I didn't feel like talking about my past was moving me forward. I was more interested in what was next for me. And I didn't think that replaying my history was serving me in the direction I wanted to go. So I quit therapy for the second time. And at that point, I knew that I was done with traditional therapy at least. And then long story short, that's when I took a drive to Barnes & Noble, I visited the self-help section, and I discovered coaching, which I knew almost immediately in my bones that this was my jam. Just by reading and implementing the tools from my very first book that I read, written by a life coach, things began to shift. Okay, so let's talk about the fundamental difference between traditional therapy and coaching. And I'm only talking about traditional. Like, there are so many forms of therapy, you guys, and it's all just a Google search away. So please feel free to do your own research on this. I actually hired an EFT therapist about a month ago. Shout out to Emma for a one-off session. I had this childhood shit that kept bubbling up over the past few months that I just could not shake. So I hired Emma for a $200 session, and we did some tapping. She did this time warp thing where I revisited those memories and talked to myself as a little girl. And it was really powerful stuff. And then I was ready to move on. So I'm definitely open to utilizing different forms of therapy based on what I feel like I need and what I'm being magnetically drawn to. Anyway, traditional therapy tends to focus on the past, while coaching is very much present and future focused. As a coach, I allow my clients to tell their past story, fine, but only once, because that's all we need. I'm not interested in what you've done or not done in your past. I want to know what's possible and what you're excited to do now and in the future. I'm not interested in how you used to define yourself. I want to know how you want to define yourself moving forward, right? Like, yes, we need to uncover the old limiting beliefs and mind drama that you've been latching onto. And that is the first phase of it, whether you do that in therapy or coaching. But from my own experience and talking to my own clients who have been in therapy for years, therapy is a much more drawn out process of that. Whereas coaching is one and done. Coaching is like the burial ground for your old self and everything in your past that hasn't served you or isn't serving you any longer. Coaching is the deliberate creation and celebration of who you want to be and what you want to do and the stepping into that new self. And that's why my heart and my soul is in coaching so deeply, because I am obsessed with creating bigger and better, with making each day better than the last. I don't spend 1 ounce of my energy harping over my past, because that's done. There's no power there. Let's keep going. Now, is there a place and time for therapy? 100%, you guys. If there is deep trauma and unhealed wounds, by all means, work that shit out. Bring it to the surface, feel through it all, grieve that part of you. That's incredibly important. Otherwise, you're just planting pretty flowers over a pile of garbage. No bueno. But where you want to be careful and honest with yourself is when you're using your past and therapy as a crutch to not move forward. You want to notice when you're buying into the belief that you're a work in progress or that you have more healing to do. That mentality has the potential to keep you in therapy for years, talking about your past to death. I actually have a video titled Self-Help Junkies. It's one of my favorite videos to date, so I'll link it down below if you haven't seen it. Guys, growth and leveling up to that next best version of you is never going to feel 100% comfortable. And I think what happens with a lot of people is that they try to 100% heal and feel 100% good before they move forward. If this is you, you're gonna be waiting your entire life. That's not how it works. Change is always uncomfortable. Coaching is that environment where you move through that nitty-gritty change and metamorphosis from who you were to who you want to be. I've had clients enroll in coaching who have actually referred out to therapy. I've worked with clients who see both a therapist and me at the same time. And I've had clients completely drop therapy for coaching altogether. Guys, I cannot tell you how many times I've had somebody say on a call, I've gotten more out of this one call than I have in years of therapy. Again, I know that sounds like, oh, Shaina, you're totally shitting all over therapy. But what I'm saying is there is a time and place for it. And the best way to measure if it's working for you is to look at your external results. If you've been in therapy for years, does your life reflect that? Are you loving your life? Are things getting better for you every day? If not, it's probably a sign that you're ready to graduate from therapy and seek a different approach. One of my current clients was in therapy for years and years, and within just a few weeks, I'm not kidding you, of coaching, she was like a completely different person than when we first started. And since, she's committed to a full year of coaching. I let her tell her old, tired story of her past once, and then we got moving. Coaching is definitely a more tough love approach than therapy. It's fast, not slow. It requires full responsibility, not blame. It's empowering, not victimizing. It's not for the faint of heart. It's the reason oftentimes as coaches, we market to people who are ready and fully committed to creating real change, not people who want to fluff around and make excuses and moan and groan about their circumstances. We're here to live with purpose and intention and be badasses out in the world. And not everybody is willing to take on that ownership and step into that role. And the last thing I want to say is this. Oftentimes you'll hear people say, well, my therapist says, and I thought about this the other day because I hear people in my own life say this a lot. And I think it's fascinating because in coaching, I don't think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think my clients are out in the world saying, well, my coach says, and here's why. I don't tell my clients what to do or what not to do or what to believe or what not to believe. My job is to help them uncover those things for themselves, to uncover their own power within their own mind and their own life. Just the other day, I was talking to one of my 10K clients and we were unraveling her thinking. And I said to her, you know, you have way more power than you even realize. And all of a sudden, she lit up like a Christmas tree. And she's like, oh my God, that feels so good. I really love that. And she wrote it down. So now she's not out in the world saying, well, Shaina says I have way more power than I even realize. No, she's out in the world saying, I have way more power than I even realize. She's experiencing that for herself, thinking that for herself, feeling that for herself, and then taking action from that place, whatever inspired action that is for her. Empowering, full responsibility, zero codependency on the coach. Such good stuff. Yes, I am here for my clients to lean on and I'm here to guide them. But ultimately, my job is to set them up so that they don't need me anymore. I don't want your money for years and years. I want to set you up and then set you free. Okay, my friends, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. My private coaching is sold out and closed for the remainder of 2020. But if you're interested in being coached by me in 2021, there is a link below to get on my wait list. I'll see you next week. Bye.